What's going on, everybody? This is Justin from Justin Paul Sports, going live immediately after that UFL Friday night fun football game. Just waiting for a few people to drop in, get this going. We had fantastic start to the football game. Birmingham wins the toss. They get the ball. First play, Alex Magoo gets injured. It's crazy. They get a great special teams return to start the game. They start going down the field, get inside the 20, only end up with a field goal. I took some notes here on the game, see how we were doing. Pardon, like I said, my system is not set up yet. So, let's see here. What's my notes say? So, a little recap from last week. Birmingham had that game on the road in DC, and after the game, DC's coach decided to get a little rowdy and say he thought I was a doorman or some crazy stuff like that. But, usually when things like that, when there's an incident with a football team prior, the next week they're focused. And road game in Washington last week, road game again here in Michigan. So they've started the season with 2 road games, one with a short week. But Alex Magoo is a reigning MVP of the league. And with that being said, you like to bet the quarterback. My bet was Birmingham -1. If you go to my channel, subscribe to my channel, you'll see on my shorts that I post picks every day for free. Every day. There's picks on college basketball, UFL, CFL, NFL, college football. Those are my specialties. And those come in the fall. But I loved Birmingham all week. I could not wait for this game today. I knew that this was going to happen. I just knew it. Bet it heavily. Loved it. I thought this was last week also for Birmingham. I thought it was a hangover spot. When you win back to back to back, you kind of think that you're the talk of the town. And rightfully so. When you're a 3-time champion, you expect to start the season hot. And last week they did not start the season hot. And they kind of got humbled in that game against DC. Came out here against Michigan. Defense was flying around the football. First play offensively for for Birmingham. The quarterback did get injured, so Matt Corral came in the game. And he's got experience, and I remember him at Ole Miss and went to Carolina. Didn't do anything there. He was on the team last year, so it kind of helps Coach Holtz has familiarity with somebody in his offense. I mean, that's always helpful. First quarter, I'm just going to do a little recap here. Like I said, Stallions went opening drive, went down for a field goal. And then for the rest of the first quarter, both teams are going back and forth with negative plays, lousy play calling. I can't tell you, even throughout the whole game, how many negative plays there were on first down. Birmingham got really predictable running the ball on first down and the inside zone. Like, they never seemed to change it up. And Michigan was ready for it. I mean, that's a stout defensive football team, Michigan. And it showed. It showed today. It showed in ways that kept them in the ball game late, despite all the craziness that happened. It was a sloppy football game for both parties. So as we go in the second quarter, again, Matt Corral's having a hard time getting signals. Coaches were trying to get the signals in. They can't confirm that they're getting the call. There's delayed game penalties. There's no sense of urgency. He's just lollygagging, going through the motions, and it led to delays and stops and drives. And then we got an interception. Michigan gets the ball, throws an interception. Safety picks it off, starts running down the left side, abruptly decides to toss it to a lineman. I've never seen that. I'm in my mid-40s, and I've never seen a safety. I've never seen a defensive back ever give a ball to a lineman in a lateral motion like that. I've seen them do it like at the goal line when when it's clearly a touchdown, but this was a live play, and they were not at the goal line. They were coming the other way midfield and just decided to lateral to a lineman. That's just crazy. That was just fun football. I really like that. So Birmingham kept bringing the pressure, and when they got the football back, they were just milking the clock. They got a 2-minute drill down to the goal line, and Coach Holtz went conservative, and it was 4th and goal from about the 2. And instead of playing power football, it takes the points. So when you go in the half, it's 6-0. And when you're on the road, you take the points every single time. So I applauded that decision. Not like Dan Campbell, not like anybody else who's just decided to, always gamble, because you can't do that. That's not smart coaching. Even if it's in the first half, you points are precious in football every time. And especially when you're the road team, and especially coming off a loss, and especially on a short week. So shout out to Skip Holtz for understanding great coaching. I mean, there's a reason he's a 3-time champ. He knows what he's doing. A lot of naysayers would say, "Oh, go for it, blah blah." This isn't Madden. This isn't a video game. You're trying to win in a professional league, and when you do that, you make decisions based on how you're going to take points and win the football game. You don't win points for style. You win points by scoring points. I know it sounds redundant, but that's the way it goes. So 6-0 Birmingham. We're at the half. Come out in the second half. Michigan gets the ball first. What do we do here? They get down, or I'm sorry, they throw that interception that's in the second half. Birmingham gets nothing. Then Michigan goes all the way downfield, gets to the goal line. They got 1st and goal from the 1 and can't punch it in. And I felt that was the end of the game early. I don't like to call games early because when you're a gambler like I am and you bet on these games, you're not going to take anything for granted. But I felt from a football fan aspect that when you're down and you drive down and you can't punch it in from 4 tries at the 1, you ran it 4 times in a row, stuffed. That was just kind of brutal. It's demoralizing to a football team if you've driven all the way down the field and then the defense stuffs you 4 times inside the goal line. That is antagonizing. That has a psychological effect on how you're going to perform the rest of the game because you've done all that work. I mean, it was a long drive, long time consuming, efficient drive. They ran the ball. They get down there. Birmingham says, "This is my house." Stops them. Turnover on downs. Big critical point. That was a critical point. And then Birmingham responds by going 99 yards and scoring on a beautiful throw out down the right side. I mean, it was just a perfect pass. And Birmingham jumps out by 2 possessions. At that point, it's 18-0. And it feels like it's cruise control. Michigan, finally, they respond, go downfield, score a touchdown on a wild play. Quarterback's running around, scrambling around. He's desperate. Looks like he's going to run it to the left side. Looked like he could have made it. Cuts back across, throws a dart in the end zone. Birmingham gets hit with a personal foul. So the rules in the UFL is there's no extra points. But you can go for 1, 2, or 3. And they announced they were going to go to 3 because at that point it was 18-6. So they want to make it 19-9. And they line up. They convert because it's a 3-yard play easily. So it's a 1-possession game. In the third quarter, it's 18-9. Michigan's got the momentum with that big fun play. They also handle their business. Just refer back to my notes here, just recapping all this. Next drive, Matt Corral comes out. You can feel the pressures on him. Throws a bomb, gets intercepted. Looked like PI on the play on the film in real time, but then when they do the replay, you can tell that there was no pass interference. Had there been pass interference, remember in the UFL, you can question any referee's decision. You got it's called a super challenge, where you can challenge if there's a penalty on the play. And of course, had there been, I'm sure that Coach Oates would have definitely thrown the challenge flag. Trying to keep the momentum and keep the football away and break the momentum of Michigan just scoring that touchdown. Pass interference penalty would have absolutely killed that. So on this next drive, after Birmingham throws another pick, second pick of the night for that safety DJ I can't think of his name off the top of my head. So Michigan's got another opportunity. Michigan punts the football. Birmingham punts the football. We're at 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game. Birmingham punts the football, and Michigan muffs it. And you can tell that the returner was trying to get full speed and catch the ball and time it perfectly, and he just didn't. And it's critical special teams mistake, and it's critical field position, and it's fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter, so you want to do everything you can. You're trying to get this last possession and win, tie the football game because it's 18-9. You're trying to get, downfield score, obviously get 3, convert, have a tie football game, and have a chance to win. It's clearly football 101. But Michigan, fumbles that. Birmingham recovers, milks the clock down. There's a minute 55 left, 21-9. Michigan takes the ball down. They're making questionable play calls, but the clock's just tick and tock and comes off. They kick a field goal and try to do the 4th and 12 because there's no onside kicks in the UFL. And incomplete pass. Birmingham runs clock out. Both teams are 1-1. This was easily my play of probably the month so far. I just felt that, when you're betting football, no matter what it is, that you have to throw away a lot of things that people try and tell you about sports. In my video catalog, you'll see how I pick winners. And what I do is factor in injuries, factor in offensive line, defensive line, quarterback play. Those are kind of my biggest things. And I just knew when the incident happened last week with an interim coach that it just wasn't going to fly. There's just no way that a team like that's a 3-time champ, has come off a week of embarrassment on the road, and a coach having that kind of disrespect, they're going to refocus when somebody does something to them. That's even if a team has a losing record. If a football team is like 3-11, let's just say, but they go through some wild antics or something happens to them or somebody embarrasses them, they're going to come out and their pride is going to be hurt and they're going to be focused for that whole week. That's how you can tell. That's when you're going to throw the records out the window and try and factor in the emotion and the psychological effects of what happens to your team. This is early in the season, so it was kind of a gift that it happened. And especially when the line came out. Michigan won the game last week, on some exciting plays. And because that happened, Vegas decides that it's going to be close. And they run the football really well. Michigan does run the football very well, but their quarterback play is suspect. They got banged up with injuries. I'm curious to see what their line's going to be in next week's game. I think 2 lines in the UFL this week are absolutely grossly inflated. It feels like some real money to be made. I think DC is laying way too many points. That team came out last week united. Again, we go back to the psychological thing. They just lost their head coach. He stepped away. So with a week to go before the season starts, before your camps, before everything, he goes through it all and then he walks away. So usually that would put a team in shambles. They stepped up and put Alex Magoo in some troubling situations. There was some rust for Birmingham in that game last week, but DC being the 8-point favorite, I'm just not feeling it. That's a lot of points and a hangover effect for the next week. Those things are real. Those things are very real when it comes to sports, specifically football. It's so hard to win. It's so hard to consistently win. I mean, that's why Tom Brady was an absolute animal. He knew, and Belichick knew, that they had to prep themselves every week, and they had to prep what they were going to do and understand that success is such a small step measure towards your next football game. And, Nick Saban understands this, and Kirby Smart understands this, and elite coaching, even Dabo Swinney understands that you can't just coast and ride it out. You have to refocus your group every week. And I knew that Skip Holtz was going to do it. I knew it. Now, I think that's going to have the opposite effect with DC. I think they play Sunday. I don't know if they're tomorrow or Sunday off the top of my head, but I do believe that laying 8 points is a gross market overreaction to winning against Birmingham last week. So that's the other play that I really like. I'll have my plays. I've also got some March Madness plays. It will be on my channel tomorrow. And there's a couple plays on the Crown tournament. So I'm just going to thumb through and I'll have everything posted. And I want to thank Red Cave for joining me. And hopefully that you guys enjoyed the recap. Please tell a friend about my channel. Please like. Please subscribe. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I will see you guys Sunday. I will have a live stream on Sunday. I just wanted to go over tonight's game because I felt it was so good and it fits so into what I try and preach on my gambling and how I preach winners is effects of things that aren't necessarily football related. So until next time, thanks for tuning in. Bye.